If everyone will rise for the press. Where is it? One second. God our Father, we are all your servants. We trust in your mercy and love. We trust also in your guidance. Direct the meetings of this council of North College Hill to make good decisions for all the people who live in our city. Give all the members of this council wisdom and insight to know what is best for our city. Help us to be fair and just in all our decisions. Bless us all to be the very best we can. With your help and guidance, we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. Roll call.
Miss Sorb,
Here.
Miss Gaston,
Here.
Miss Alexander,
Here.
Miss Kiriton,
Here.
Miss Clear,
Here.
Mr. Davis, Miss Chichester.
Here. Madam President,
Ms. Chichester?
I make a motion that we excuse Mr. Davis? He let me know that his car stopped on him, so he's currently trying to get that together, but he won't be here.
Okay. Ms. Zorb, did you want to second that?
Yes, I was second it. I was going to say the same thing.
Okay. I have a motion from Ms. Chichester and a second from Ms. Zorb to excuse Mr. Davis due to car trouble. Roll call.
Miss Sorb, Miss Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Kiriton,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right, everyone should have the agenda for tonight in front of them. Does anybody have anything they would like to add, or are we good to go as is?
Madam President,
Ms. Clear?
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb?
I'll second.
We have a motion on the floor to accept the agenda by Ms. Clear and a second by Ms. Zorb. Roll call.
Miss Sorb,
Yes.
Miss Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Kiriton,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right, everybody has the minutes in front of them from our last meeting. Do I hear any motions in regards to the minutes?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I would like to make a motion that we accept the February 17th minutes.
Do I hear a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Alexander?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Alexander to accept the minutes from 2/17/2026. Roll call.
Miss Sorb,
Yes.
Miss Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Kiriton,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Okay. Do we have any communications?
Yes, I have just one thing. If whoever needs to from committees can send me the accepted minutes and agendas, that way I can get them filed and posted, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb?
may I ask a follow-up question to the
Sure.
clerk? Ms. Claire, I know we had kind of talked offline, and I mentioned I have a hard time finding committee minutes on the website. Have you figured out a solution to that?
So I was thinking about uploading them to the Agenda Center. That way they can be easily tracked and found from the city's main page, kind of like how the council meeting minutes are. And then I was going to go back through what I have and make sure that the past records are all up to date, and that we have everything.
That's awesome. Thank you.
for public comments, has anybody signed in?
Yes, we have one person signed in, Ned Heeger. Okay, hope I pronounced that right.
Did great. Hi, thank you so much for allowing me to talk, and it's so good to see everybody. I'll be really quick. I, of course, just want to invite everybody in the community to come down to your libraries. I hopefully will find out a ballpark date of when the new the new College Hill branch will be opening up. And I'm, of course, from the Groesbeck branch. We'd love to see you come down to Storytime, check some books out. But the thing I really wanted to mention tonight is tech training we're doing at the library the first and third Tuesday of every month. Upcoming sessions, tomorrow we're going to be doing an internet introduction. On the 17th we're doing test prep database we have, and then cell phone basics on April 7th and the April 21st, Libby and Hoopla. I don't know if you guys are using Libby. If you aren't, you should be. And take advantage of all those audiobooks in there. But I also wanted to pass along, this is not something we're just supporting on, but I think it's a great opportunity, so I wanted to pass this along. Meals on Wheels of Cincinnati, of Southwest Ohio, Northern Kentucky, is doing a program at the library where they are giving away a tablet, free tablet, to anybody who comes to 3 training classes on using that tablet. So the classes coming up are April 13th, April 15th, and April 16th. You have to come to all 3. It's limited to 4 individuals each session that they do them. So this next session will just be 4 individuals, but you go away with a free tablet. There are some requirements. You have to be at least 60, and there are income requirements, which are $31,300 for singles or $42,300 for couples. But it's a wonderful opportunity, and who couldn't use a tablet plus training on how to use the tablet? So come on down to the library for some tech stuff. If I have flyers, if anybody wants to stop by and check with me later.
Did you care to repeat those dates again?
Yes, you bet. April 13th, April 15th, and April 16th. And they're in the morning from 10 until 11:30. But you let us know. You should call or email the branch to register and get to be one of those 4 spots. So it's a great opportunity. Thank you so much.
Madam President?
Thank you.
Ms. Alexander?
For the tech training, is that at the Groesbeck?
That's at the Groesbeck Library. Yeah. I think most branches are doing tech training, but these are ours. Miss Kayla down there does a wonderful job.
And what time?
Those are at 11 o'clock. Thank you. Good point. I forgot to mention that. It's 11 to 12. And she just sort of does it every first and third Tuesday of every month. And she does a sort of a rotating topic each time. So I know that cell phone basics will be helpful. But the intro to the internet is great too. And there's just a lot of great resources she can help you with.
Madam President?
Ms. Chichester?
Yes. Do you have those flyers electronically?
I do. I can send those to you.
Yay.
Yep, I'll do it.
Thank
Madam
you.
President?
Welcome.
Ms. Curitan?
Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. I would love to see if we can partner with our clerk of council so that we can post this on our
sure.
city's website if administration agrees
Love to.
with it.
Yeah,
Be
you
a
bet.
lot of resources. We can redirect them to our city's website. Yeah, thank you.
You got it.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, as we have 2 people in our audience, do we have any other public comments?
No one else has signed in for public comments.
Okay, and I'm presuming there's no guest speakers, as, again, there's only 2 people. All right, let's move on to committee reports. Ms. Clear, for Rules and Public Policy.
Rules of Public Policy has not met since our last meeting. Our next meeting will be on March 9th at 6 p.m.
Okay. Ms. Curitan, for Safety?
Hi, Public Safety has not met as well, and our next meeting is on Monday, March 9th at 6:30. I invite our citizens and all of council to sit in. If you do not sit on this committee, we have a lot to discuss, and so it impacts our community, our safety, and how we can better collaborate with all key partners. So I invite you Monday, March 9th at 6:30.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gaston for City Community Development and Recreation.
Thank you, Madam President. We haven't met since our last council meeting, so our next meeting is March 9th at 7 p.m. Everyone is invited to attend. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, you can always email me at my city email, and I will respond either publicly or immediately via email. That's all.
Thank you. Ms. Zorb for Budget and Finance.
Thank you, Madam President. We have not met since our last report. Our next meeting will be March the 9th at 7:30 p.m. right here in this same bat channel, same bat station. Isn't that the saying?
Yes. Thank you. Do we have any ad hoc reports for tonight? Okay. And before we get into our admin reports, I'd like, just as a reminder, that for us to keep, and this is everybody, keep our back and forth questions for the administration to only during admin reports and not during call of members. So just a reminder. All right, admin reports, the mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. I really don't have anything tonight. Hello, everyone, and just remind you that tomorrow is the county state of the county tomorrow at I believe it's 6. I didn't write it down. And when a citizen was here a couple weeks ago, she inquired about getting like events on the website. We had neglected that in some areas, so we've discussed that, and the person in charge of the website will be making sure that that information is out there, and we're also looking into the app again. I know it wasn't utilized a lot, but we're thinking if we can get it out and push it out differently, then maybe we'll get more use out of it. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Madam President, I
Ms.
just
Judges.
want to make note that the state of the county is at 5 o'clock.
It's at 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Something else is at 6 then.
Madam President,
I had 5:30.
Yes, Ms. Gaston.
tomorrow at 6 is the basketball game.
Is that right?
Oh.
Yes.
Madam President,
Ms. Curitin.
per the email that we received from Hamilton County, Ohio Commissioner's Office, from County Commissioner President Stephanie Summerall-Dumas, it is tomorrow, State of the County address. It's Tuesday, March 3rd at 6 p.m., Memorial Hall, 1225 Elm Street. Doors open at 5.
Yes.
Okay, so
Madam President.
thank you, Ms. Carrington. It was 6.
But, Madam President,
Ms. Chichester.
I would strongly suggest you guys get there early for that parking lot next to it is very small. And there's kind of a networking thing beforehand, before they get started, that is very beneficial. They usually have county tables set up so you can learn each different department. So that's why I really suggest if you guys can't get there, unless
you,
you're
Ms.
getting
Chichester.
dropped off in front of the door.
Thank you. All right, City Administrator. Ms. Dukestein.
Hello, everyone. I provided you with the monthly departmental activity report. I'm sure that you have not had an opportunity to read through it, so I just wanted to kind of clarify the cadence of what these will look like. What I'm hoping to do is to provide, so in February, on the first meeting of each month, I provide for January, and then you can ask questions at the second meeting, because I'm sure you won't have an opportunity to read them upon getting them. And so on that second meeting, I'll just answer questions, or you can email them, and we can answer questions that way. So this report is provided to you, and it's for February of 2026. February was a busy month. I won't rehash everything in this document because it's lengthy, but we were satisfying lots of grants in terms of just making sure across every area, every department. I cannot think of a department that did not apply or touch a grant. This is just major grant season. We are heavily being visited by the state auditor. We had 2 days last week and 1 day the week prior. And they don't just visit the finance department. They also visit mayor's court and police. So on those days, I'm heavily inundated in making sure that, well, on the finance days, I'll leave that to Sheetha. On the other days, then I am also there just making sure that we're checks and balance. I can tell you that we had some very good news with our mayor's court. They were very happy with our files. They anticipated spending 2 days there. They spent half a day, and then they spent the rest of their time over here, which wasn't lovely. Not because of the outcome, but just because it's difficult to have the auditor sit with us. He's very nice, but we're just sitting with him, trying to comply with all of the things that he's asking for, files and data. I know that we've had a couple of public events in our city that I will say that our police department and Hamilton County are working diligently to remediate and make sure that everyone has redirected outcomes, especially with our youth. And with that being said, I will close. Thank you, and pardon my absence. I have been ill, but feeling lots better. Any questions?
Madam President?
Ms. Clear?
Yes, I appreciate the report. I look forward to reading it in detail when I get a chance. And I don't mean to steal Ms. Curitan's thunder at all, but is there a way that we can add a placeholder, at least for Parks and Recreation? We have a lot of parks projects potentially coming along and upcoming recreational events that we might want to be a part of or know that they're coming, so we can plan accordingly. Can we put a placeholder in there, even though there isn't a department head right now?
Yes. Yes.
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan?
thank you so much, Ms. Dukesteins, for your report. I know that we've had a couple of conversations relative to it, and I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. Your cadence for these reports will be, can you just reiterate that one more time?
Yes, I will provide them on the first Monday of every month, but it will be for the month that was prior. So this is March. I'm providing for February. I think it would be difficult to give the report real time. I think you would probably want to know everything that happened in February.
So I just wanted to clarify with you, I'm not sure if you understand or know what our charter says when the reports are due. And it states that the city administrator should submit, or shall submit rather, to the mayor, council, and make available to the public a report on the financial and administrative activities of the city at the end of each month. So is there a way that we can align more so with our charter? If you would like to potentially do it on somewhere between the 28th and 30th monthly?
Yeah, if you want to have it on the second.
I'm sorry, one more time.
If you would like to have it on the second, but you still leave a week where we're not processing, it says at the end of each month. It doesn't have to happen in the cadence of that month. But if you would like to have it on the third Monday of the month, that's fine, but you will be missing information, sometimes 2 weeks.
Madam President,
Ms. Nichols?
is it council's desire to have it at a meeting? Because if not, it doesn't have to be necessarily presented at a meeting if you're looking at towards the end of the month.
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan?
what I want to avoid is what we experienced in February and then in March. We're given the report, and thank you for it, but 5 minutes before the council meeting starts. So I would love for us to be able to have at least a few days to review it, being handed a piece of paper at the start of a council meeting, and then trying to determine if we have questions in relative to the report might be a bit challenging. And we would also love time to really digest and make sure we have a full understanding of what's happening in the city. So when I think about end of month, I'm thinking like that final week. But I'm just curious if we can more so align with what our charter says at the end of each month, if that's something that we can create and follow through with.
Madam President,
Madam Mayor?
I would like to have more of a infinitive date as we leave. So if we say the last week in the month, can we just say 25th, the 28th? Would
Madam
that
President?
work? Because if it's given at that point, you'll have it before the first meeting. It will entail the majority of the activities but it might not necessarily be presented to you at a meeting.
Madam President.
Madam President.
One moment. So just for clarification's sake, I think at least coming from this side of the tables, I think what we're looking for is if you say you do decide on, say, the 25th or the 26th being your cutoff date to writing your report, send it to council then, and then by the first meeting of the next month, if we have questions, we would have already had time to read it. So I think the clarification is if we could just have it, like you choose a cutoff date, whether it be the 25th, 26th, or whatever, and then email us on that day, and then that'll give council enough time to read it and have, if they have any questions, they can bring it to the meeting. So I don't think the anticipation is getting it at a meeting. It's the clarification of we want it before the meeting. That way, if we have questions, we can ask you in person.
Are you letting me?
Yes, go ahead,
Okay.
Ms. Dukestein.
So I think the charter clarifies that it needs to be at that month, but it doesn't mean that it has to happen of that month reported. And the reason that's important is because, like I said, if you want it at the third meeting, you're missing like 2 weeks of the end of the month. And I think you're thinking that by delivering it to you at the first meeting of the next month, that you don't have time. You're getting it. You're able to have questions prepared for the next one. I can change it either way. I'm just saying to you that you actually have already existingly what you're asking for, but it seems not to be satisfactory.
Madam
President,
Ms. Gaston?
would it, I hear both sides. Would it be possible that when we receive our council packets, that your report could be in there as well? That's not the end of the month,
That's fine.
but, and another question for you, just so I can have clarity. At the end of the month, do you have a lot of things to wrap up? Because I just want to make sure that the workload is doable, respectfully.
Thank you for that consideration. I'll make sure that I have it to Ms. Clear. The date that you prefer documents is Wednesday or Thursday? Because there's been a couple conversations via email, Wednesday or Thursday.
Madam President.
Well,
Hold on, let her answer. Ms. Claire?
So council rules, it's just Wednesday to have documents in. And then after that, I believe it would be up to the president to say, yes, it can go on the agenda. But if it's just going in the packet, I try to get that sent out Thursdays at 8.
Okay.
So like preferably by Wednesday at the absolute latest to go out Thursday.
Okay.
Madam President.
Wait, hold on. Can you redo the, Madam President?
Madam President, I believe we both were simultaneous, and
Okay.
I was going to propose something similar that, rather than saying it's on the 25th, which could be a Sunday, depending on how the calendar lands, that it aligns with the packet that would ordinarily be distributed for the first meeting of the month. So that would be what we just talked about. And I do hear what you're saying also, that you're going to have a couple of days of gap, because when I was doing monthly reports, it's impossible to perfectly align it, so if there's anything of substance that happened between when we get the written report and when the first meeting is, I'm sure you would share that with us. But just so for the sake of uniformity, and this is when we need this,
I agree.
I think that's a good compromise, is the Thursday prior to the first meeting of the month.
Okay. Any further questions for the city administrator? Okay.
Madam President, sorry.
I apologize, Ms. Zorb.
I was slow on the draw, forgive me. Ms. Dukestein, I was wondering, I'm just glancing through this, so maybe it's in here and maybe it's not. I'm kind of looking for not just historical information, but maybe if there's anything going forward that you feel is important enough that we need to know that you're going to be working on. Can that be included also, possibly?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Madam President.
Ms. Curitan?
Thank you so much for being flexible with what we would like to do moving forward. One more thing I wanted to ask is, I appreciate the paper copies. But can we have these in addition to, and I think I'm hearing you say yes, that we will receive it in our council packets?
Yes.
Maybe minimizing the trees, saving the trees, but more so giving it to us in email.
Yes,
Okay,
I'll send
wonderful.
it to Jillian. Jillian will distribute it.
Thank you.
Okay. To the law director's report, Mr. Dieters.
Madam President, I do not have anything this evening. Thank
Okay.
you.
I do not see our finance manager in the house. Do we have anything from her?
Not today.
Okay. All right, now we're to call of members. Ms. Zorb?
Thank you, Madam President. So I would just like to have a quick reminder to my fellow council members that there's going to be a mandatory password reset that is Wednesday this week. So you have 48 hours to reset your password, or you're going to be making phone calls to get in. So that's your reminder. Also, since Mr. Davis isn't here, I'm going to steal his thunder. There is the boys, the varsity team for the North College Hill Trojans plays against Seven Hills tomorrow at Western Brown High School. That's in Mount Orb, and that game is at 6 p.m. also. And then there is one other thing that I just would like to talk about. As council, we typically have the privilege of seeing police officers, of welcoming and celebrating police officers to the North College Hill family during their swearing-in ceremonies at council meetings. These occasions allow us to witness and share in the beginnings of their careers with the city. Last week, we marked a significant moment as a veteran officer retired from our department. Officer Michael Henn concluded his distinguished career after 25 years of dedicated service in North College Hill Police Department. Officer Henn's commitment to service and character were evident throughout his entire career, and notably on his final full day of duty. On that day, he responded to a critical call involving a juvenile who was armed with a knife and experiencing a significant emotional distress. Demonstrating exceptional judgment, Officer Henn assessed the situation and recognized that the safest and most effective solution would require patience, communication, rather than immediate force. Through calm dialogue, Officer Henn established a rapport with the teenager. His efforts to de-escalate the situation resulted in a safe surrender of the weapon without injury. Officer Henn then ensured that the teenager received appropriate medical evaluation and care. Officer Henn exemplifies what it means to be both a good officer and a good human. His presence will be deeply missed in our police force. Godspeed to you, Officer Henn. I wish you prosperity and success in your next endeavor. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Gaston?
Thank you, Madam President. Congratulations to Officer Henn as well. That's amazing, 25 years. Thank you for your service. I just wanted to talk about good communication. So good communication is not optional in public service. It is foundational. Clear and timely communication builds trust, it strengthens transparency, it allows us to make sound legislative decisions with confidence. And one other thing that I really wanted to say is just respecting other people's time. It's not just courteous, it's professional, it's collaborative, it reflects true leadership. We are blessed to live in a nation where we have the right to protest. Our voices matter. As the late John Lewis encouraged us, we must make good trouble. Good trouble is purposeful, it seeks justice, it reflects courage. But disorderly conduct and unruly behavior will not be tolerated in North College Hill. Scripture reminds us that God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. We can stand firm without creating chaos. We can speak boldly while remaining disciplined. As a council member, I aim to model how to make noise that brings the right attention, because not all attention is good attention. Order and impact can coexist. And since it's March, a beautiful reminder that this season represents renewal. As we move towards spring and reflect during the season, we are reminded that growth often follows reflection, and new life follows faithfulness. March also celebrates Women's History Month, and I would like to honor just a few who made good trouble and changed the world, like Shirley Chisholm, Rosa Parks, just to name a few. Women who stood in conviction, acted with courage, and created change for many generations. Let's carry that same spirit here in North College Hill, faithful, focused, and forward. And before I close, a heartfelt shout out to our fire and EMS teams. This past Friday, during a very tough situation involving my family, they went above and beyond. Their unwavering commitment to service and being kind to citizens of our community reflects the very best of public service. My family deeply thanks you. Let's make this month meaningful, move forward with purpose. That is all.
Thank you, Ms. Gaston. Ms. Alexander.
Okay, I'd like to remind everyone that March 8th, we will spring forward. So you will move your clocks ahead an hour, gaining some daylight, most precious daylight. Also, girls, grades 9 through 12, if you're interested in girls flag football, there will be a meeting on March 4th in the middle school gym at 3:30. That's girls flag football, grades 9 through 12. Also, there is a call for Girls on the Run. They're still accepting people. The ages are 3rd and 4th grade. Practice is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting tomorrow. Practice is from 3:30 to 5 at the track and at the high school. Also, if you participate, you get a free pair of running shoes. They actually come and measure your feet. I remember when my daughter did it, they actually got shoes from the Good Feet store. So, that is, pretty good shoe there. I wanted to put my feet up in there. They was like, nah, you got to bring your own. But anyway, they are really calling for more participants. The actual event is going to be on May 9th at Smalley Park. Is it Smell? Yeah, Smalley Smell Park. If you are interested, you can email Donna Bruner at North College Hill BAAC, that's no spaces, at gmail.com, and she'll give you all the details. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Alexander. Ms. Curitan.
Good evening. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be here, to sit before you. Thank you, Madam President. Neighbors and colleagues, I want to speak from my heart about where we are and where we're going together. In recent days, we all have learned the incident near Kroger, inside of Kroger, and the student walkout that have stirred strong feelings in our community. There were concerns for safety, pride in our young people, worry for our businesses, and gratitude for those who were responding to the scene. Moments like these test a city's character. They also reveal our opportunity to come together with clarity, compassion, and courage. I was elected by the people and for the people to help bring change that lifts North College Hill. And I know change can sometimes feel uncomfortable, even when it is needed and it is right. Discomfort doesn't mean we're divided. It means we care enough to grow. Our task as leaders is to turn that discomfort into progress, not polarization. Here's the purpose I'm inviting all of us into. Number one, let's build real community conversations with our police department, those who serve on council, and our administration. Standing, reoccurring dialogues with students, parents, business owners, and faith leaders, and along with our neighborhood leaders. Not one-off listening sessions, but ongoing table talks where we name problems honestly, plan safety together, and build trust before the crisis arrives. These conversations should be welcoming, youth inclusive, and centered on dignity, safety, and respect for all involved. Number 2, let's work as one city across multiple departments: police, administration, council, public works, code enforcement, schools, and our community leaders and partners. So safety is not a series of isolated actions, but a coordinated plan. When we share information, it aligns with our responses and support our frontline teams. We reduce risk and increase hope. Number 3, communicate consistently. I believe that was something that Ms. Beverly Gaston mentioned, with council and with residents. Through clear monthly reporting and simple plain language updates, transparency is not a burden. It is how we show our community that their city is listening, learning, and leading together. Now, to our young people, your voice matters. To our business and workers and employees of this city, your security matters. To our officers and first responders, your safety and wellness matters. And to every family who calls North College Hill home, you matter and you belong. The story we tell from here is not about blame, but it is about responsibility. We can hold boundaries and extend grace. We can ensure accountability and invest in prevention. We can stand for safety and stand with each other. That is the kind of leadership that I am committed to. Steady, compassionate, and focused on outcomes that make daily life in North College Hill better. Safer streets, stronger relationships, and a city that leads with heart and with purpose. Change may feel uncomfortable. We understand that. But guided by a shared value, it builds possibilities for our city. Let's choose the path that bridges us closer to solutions, to each other, and to a North College Hill that we all believe in. Now, as we recognize Women's History Month, the entire month of March, we take time to honor the countless women whose leadership, resilience, and vision have shaped our community, our nation, and our world. From trailblazers who fought for the right to vote and equal opportunity, to the women serving in public office, just like us, running local businesses, leading classrooms, protecting public safety. We have our first police officer, and caring for families. Their contributions are woven into every part of our daily lives. Women like Susan B. Anthony and Rosa Parks, they changed the course of history through courage and through conviction. Leaders such as Shirley Chisholm, me and Ms. Beverly Gaston were on the same page. They broke barriers in government, while advocates like Dolores Hutorta fought tirelessly for justice and workers' rights. Their legacies remind us that progress is possible when determination meets purpose. But listen, Women's History Month is not just about reflecting on the past, it is about recognizing the women among us today, the women who sit in this very room. It is about ensuring equal opportunities, amplifying diverse voices, and creating pathways for future generations of girls to lead without limits. When women succeed, families thrive, businesses grow, and communities prosper. Let us continue to work together to build a future in North College Hill where every woman and girl feels seen, supported, and empowered to achieve her fullest potential. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Curitan. Ms. Clear?
Thank you, Madam President. I also want to take time to congratulate Officer Henn on his retirement. 25 years of service anywhere is quite an achievement and a testament to dedication to our community and to serving the people who live and work and play here and learn here. And congratulations. Also, I did want to echo honoring Women's History Month. I tend to think of this along the lines of arts and sciences more so than political history. But the choir that I sang with, we have made a point to include underrepresented composers in classical literature that we sing. Fanny Mendelssohn Hensel is one. Fantastic, so much fun to sing her. And the other one that calls to mind is Mariana von Martinez, who was a contemporary of Mozart and was a very well-respected composer in her own right in her time. And also some scientific achievements, we all know about Marie Curie, but there are physicists, mathematicians, all throughout history who either through their own decision to maintain social norms or because the social norms were imposed upon them, we haven't learned much about them. And it's not about dismissing the achievements of anyone else, but it's about leveling the recognition and the honoring the contributions equally. And right now we've got a little bit of an imbalance going on. So the more we can raise awareness of how these contributions have helped shape our current culture and our current society and our sciences and our arts, so much the better, as far as I'm concerned. The other thing I wanted to say was I had the opportunity to be a fly on the wall at the recent Ohio City County Management Association Conference, which was held last week in Sharonville. As a student, that organization is restricted to non-elected officials. So you cannot join if you are an elected official, but you can if you're an appointed official. But I was able to be a fly on the wall as a student because I'm taking public policy classes at NKU. And the sessions that I was sitting in on and moderating was, one of them was called The Big Picture, Bringing Your Community's Future into Focus. And the other one was Municipal Hospitality, How to Turn Everyday Interactions into Moments That Matter. They were both fantastic presentations, and I really feel like I learned a lot. And any chance we get, and it's in our packets later, we'll talk about that later, to attend these things and learn from other municipalities gave these presentations. So it wasn't like people coming from somewhere else like consultants. These were actual municipalities. So the city of Milford and I can't think of the name of the other city, Worcester, Ohio, did the hospitality presentation, and the city of Gahanna did, and it's Gahanna, like banana, they made sure we all knew that, did The Big Picture, Bringing Your Community's Future into Focus, where they talked about how they implemented their comprehensive plan. So those were I just, of all the sessions to be assigned to randomly as a volunteer, I was so thrilled to get those too. But any chance we get as elected officials or administration to network, to learn from each other and to learn from other people who are in the same path we are on, but maybe 5 or 6 steps ahead of us, and we can learn from them and we can grow, and we don't have to figure all this out all by ourselves. And that was really valuable to me to be a part of that experience.
Thank you, Ms. Claire. Ms. Chichester?
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, everyone, and I want to throw a shameless plug out here for you. And if you guys want to learn more about historical women in history, check out your local libraries. I'm sure there's a display as soon as you come walking in the door. You're welcome. So, I got a lot to cover, so let me get my notes together. So, congratulations to Coach Gentry and his team. Those boys are working hard, and good luck to you guys tomorrow night. And also, if you didn't know or if you didn't hear it, there was a bridge in Kentucky that was imploded this morning. It was very cool if you got the opportunity to watch that on TV, or if you ventured down, if you were brave to go film it in person. February was a really busy month, since we celebrated Black History Month. With that comes a lot of events. One of the events that I am most proud that I got to attend was one on youth violence. Got to sit on the panel and speak towards that. And there's going to be some projects coming down the line that I would love for North College Hill to be a part of. At a separate event for youth, I got to meet some very bright, community-focused female police cadets. These women were awesome, young women were awesome. And I would love to see a program like that thrive in the city of North College Hill. Also, my prayers and condolences goes out to the families that were involved in the shooting over the weekend. That's very tragic that's becoming a norm in our society. And also prayers and condolences to our servicemen or women who lost their lives over the weekend and are currently serving overseas. So I pray that this chaos ends soon and bring our service members home safely. Also, another event that I got to attend was hosted by Hamilton County, was a safety alliance. They hosted an event where it was like every social service organization you can imagine within Hamilton County was there, and to network and connect and get any resources. I think I left there with everyone's contact in the room. So if you looking for a organization or a social service program that you might need or think you would help you, let me know. I'll probably got the connection for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chichester. Okay. Any further remarks from the audience? Okay, we're to the part of legislation. Ms. Julian?
All right, we have the first reading of Resolution 03-2026, a resolution approving and authorizing a contract with Rumpke, Inc. for solid waste collection and recycling services.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I have a question for our city administrator.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. Ms. Dukestein, when is this due? Is this urgent, or what are your thoughts?
So I did double check to make sure. So Rumpke is waiting on us. Waterworks is not. So Rumpke is wanting to implement the contract as of March 1st. And so what that looks like is a small increase within like $1 for the citizens. Mm-hmm. And so because we partner with Greater Cincinnati Waterworks for our billing, we needed to correlate. Rumpke is fine to let it go through the 3 readings. Waterworks is not, because they need to get ahead of the contract to be able to bill appropriately for March. So it would be really great if you guys would be willing to suspend the readings.
Madam President,
Ms. Cureton?
thank you so much for providing us with this, Ms. Dukestein. If you can just maybe highlight if there are any changes in this contract from the one we previously had and then this new contract.
The only changes in the contract, if you'll draw to it on the first page, are the single-family trash, two-family trash. The price went up probably about $1 or $2. It primarily went up for the 2-family trash and 3- and 4-family trash, because those are multi-unit, and they're collecting a lot more trash. The single-family trash did not go up much at all.
And just to confirm, Madam President, that's the only change in this entire agreement from what we had before and what they recommended?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam President?
Real quick, so Ms. Dukestein, just for clarification's sake, per Rumpke, they'll still be doing where you can have a bulk item taken and also recycling will be included?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
If you
Ms.
look
Claire.
on there, I'm sorry, you'll see the single family. It's on page 1 of the document. It says single family recycling.
Thank you.
It's $5 each per month.
Ms. Claire?
Thank you, Madam President. I have a question and then a follow-up to that question. Well, actually, a note. Section 3, the wording, "This resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest period allowed by law." That exact statement is duplicated in Section 5. It says, "This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the earliest period allowed by law." I'm assuming we only need this in one place and not two.
Madam President,
Mr.
the
Dieters.
whereases are recitals. They aren't actually the legislation.
It's in Section 3, it's not in the whereas. Section 3 and then Section 5 of the now therefore be it resolved.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt anything.
It doesn't hurt anything. And the follow-up to that is, when is the earliest period allowed by law? Because this is a resolution and not an ordinance. I'm not sure if a 30-day referendum period applies to this resolution.
It's language that Rumpke has asked for to have in the resolution. So some municipalities or townships might have different things depending on what they are. So it's just language that they've asked for to be in it.
So when would this take effect?
A resolution would be immediately, right?
Thank you.
Any further questions regarding to legislation?
Madam President.
Ms. Zorb?
So, Ms. Dixon, can you help me recall, what does Waterworks bill us to? They charge the city for that function, correct? Do you recall what that amount is?
No, but I do know that it's worth it. But I can send it to you in an email. I can follow up.
I am not questioning the logic. I'm just curious to know the number. And so I also have a follow-up, and that's why I have this follow-up, is because because we got this in our email, and so I looked at my bills, my Waterworks bills, and then the Rumpke amount fluctuates a lot, and that's confusing to me. Why would it fluctuate?
I can find that out. I've noticed that on my own bill when this was a eye-opener for me because I had not seen the behind-the-scenes things as it relates to this contract, and then looking at it comparatively to my bill, but I can find that out.
I was just wondering if it correlated to maybe Waterworks bills us like on a daily. I don't know.
But I
started
can find the answers
concocting
to that.
ideas in my head, so I'll stop.
I'm still working. I didn't have a bunch of conversation with Waterworks because I wasn't sure what you guys were going to do in terms of this, because you have the liberty not to suspend readings, and that means that we would have to catch up on the bill. So I wanted to get what you guys were going to do on that first.
Okay.
Madam President.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms.
While we're here for discussion, I just wanted to share this fun fact I learned as I was navigating this. So Rumpke has a special heart for North College Hill. I know that sometimes our residents are angry with Rumpke, but they are eager to satisfy us. If you would call and let them know whatever your issues are, they definitely wholeheartedly want to keep our contract because in 1975, North College Hill was their first municipality. And so they had some contracts or half a contract in some cities, and then they consumed Cincinnati at some point. But North College Hill was their first municipal contract, so they work really hard to try to accommodate us. And I said to our rep, hey, well then, we have some residents who are sometimes not happy with our service, and he said, please have them call because we are always wanting to make sure we accommodate North College Hill.
It's cool. Thank you. Okay. Next on our agenda, just waiting.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston.
I would like to suspend readings on the resolution.
Okay.
Madam President, I
Ms.
just want to say
Chichester?
I second that motion.
Okay. I have a motion from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Chichester to suspend second and third readings of Resolution 3-2026.
Mm-hmm.
Roll call.
Ms. Sorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Keratin?
Yes.
Miss Clear?
Yes.
Miss Chichester?
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I would like to make a motion that we adopt resolution, I forgot it already.
326.
326. Thank you, Ms. Chichester.
Okay.
President,
Ms. Chichester?
I second her motion.
I have a second, or I have a motion from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Chichester to adopt Resolution 3-2026. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Miss Sorb?
Yes.
Miss Gaston?
Yes.
Miss Alexander?
Yes.
Miss Keratin?
Yes.
Miss Clear?
Yes.
Miss Chichester?
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right, next on our agenda is we do have an executive session that is listed.
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester?
I make a motion that we move into executive session. Somebody got to read it.
Mhm.
I knew I should.
It's on the agenda.
Okay. The pursuit to Ohio Revised Code, council will enter executive session under section 121.22G1 to consider the appointment, employment, discipline, compensation of a public employee or official. G4, to prepare for conduct or review negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment.
Do I hear a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I'll second.
Okay. So I have a motion from Ms. Chichester and a second from Ms. Gaston to go into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121-22G1 and G4. Okay. G-Unit.
Madam President? Who is invited to this executive session?
Yes. So I'm presuming that this is in regards to, we would have to have all of council, and then probably Mr. Dieters. And Mr. Dieters, who else do you think needs to be in here?
I would suggest the mayor and city administrator.
Okay. So we have a first and we have a second. We've listed all our invitees to executive session. Can we have roll call?
Miss Sorb?
Yes.
Miss Gaston?
Yes.
Miss Alexander?
Yes.
Miss Keratin?
Yes.
Miss Clear?
Yes.
Miss Chichester?
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Do we have any old business?
Madam President,
Whoa.
She can go. I need to.
are we ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Ms. Clear?
In your packets for old business, you have a draft proposed new council rule governing council expenditures. And we had discussed with Ms. Stevens not generally the municipal policies that they're putting in place governing expenditures. And the goal was to align this with the process that other city departments are now going to follow. And just, I did run this past Ms. Stevens Knott and our clerk of council. And I did run the disclosure of interest on the proposed expenditure form through Mr. Dieters, with one exception. There was a piece that basically that I wanted to see if I could add that states if a disallowed conflict of interest is found to exist, then whoever submitting this form agrees to recuse themselves from discussion pertaining to the request and refrain from voting on the matter. So if the vendor is of, you know, if it's found to exist, like if I submit this and I'm like, oh man, this person like pays rent to my mom, I'm gonna have to bow out of this conversation, that is in there as well. So that was different. But otherwise, Mr. Dieters has reviewed the disclosure of interest on the form. And then the proposed rule itself, I believe it would be appended to the end of council rules. I guess it would be Rule 12. So I wanted to, first of all, to make you aware that after I sent this, of course, I found an edit. So on part 2, where it says approval process, letter A, it says council will discuss and vote by motion in new business whether to deny the request or approve the request and authorize administration to proceed with ordering the requested product or service. The next sentence reads, if the requester has a disallowed conflict of interest, and I would like to change that to say if any member has a disallowed conflict of interest regarding the recommended vendors, that they must disclose that information before discussion begins. That would be the change that I would suggest there. So that would apply to anybody, because we could turn this form in and be, you know, somebody's like, ooh, you know, I really shouldn't be involved in this conversation again because I have a disallowed conflict of interest. The second edit, that it may not require an edit, but the requirement under Part 1, requests for council expenditures must be submitted in writing to the clerk of council and president of council using the official council request for expenditure form. There's no timing on that. Sometimes we move and make these decisions fact, that way we have it documented. So that was the other thing that I wanted to suggest that we add. Are there any other, we've had this for a few days in front of us, are there any other comments or questions or suggestions? Again, council rules can be modified if we find that a process isn't working, but I wanted to see if anyone else had any comments or questions about this policy.
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan?
I just wanted to understand if, in fact, this would align with any expenditures that council needs, i.e. nameplates, where we can relinquish that purchase opportunity to our clerk, and so that she can execute. Does that fall within these parameters?
The purpose of the rule, and I'll just read this for the sake of the video and everybody else, but yes, in a nutshell. So the purpose of the rule is to establish a clear, consistent internal procedure for council-initiated expenditure requests, such as furnishings, equipment, or other operational needs. So all requests are documented, reviewed, and processed in an orderly and transparent manner. So in that case, if we were requesting something that wouldn't be out of the ordinary. Now, it really depends on whether you think nameplates are just something that we would just do anyway, because we have to do it for new people. But if, for example, if we want to replace these chairs, we go through this process, it's on the form, we vote on it, it gets submitted, and then we authorize the clerk to work with the, to handle the logistics and documentation. They are not authorized to approve expenditures. That is something council does as a body,
Ms.
but
Clear.
that's the idea.
Ms. Clear, if I can ask a clarifying question, I know that, I think it was a couple meetings ago, we did a motion regarding the nameplates and expenditures. What is the, can you kind of, what was that motion pertaining to and difference that is what this is?
The difference is historically, we've done these sort of things just verbally, on the fly in a meeting. And the difference is that, we would have a documented process and potentially, in the similar fashion that other expenditures are requested through the city, we would have to document what it is we want, why do we want it, how much is council willing to approve toward the purchase, so that would be the estimated cost, and if there were any recommended vendors. Otherwise, we would just go with whatever the city's standard vendor is. So,
Well, my
but the
question
purpose
being
is to document it.
We made a motion.
Yes.
That motion was about expenditures,
Yes.
correct? And is this just saying that now there's paperwork to go with that, to fill out?
Yes, and that way we can manage this process and keep track of it, and there's a communication chain.
Okay.
So that's the idea. Because before we do things just verbally, and then it kind of disappears into the ether until something shows up.
Madam President,
So,
Ms. Rowe?
so I feel like I'm beating a dead dog here, but we already did make a motion. You're the one who requested the motion. It passed. So are you saying now that motion is null?
the motion predates our adoption of
Okay,
this
so-
potential
so we're
adoption
good
of
with the
this.
nameplates?
Oh, yeah. I don't see any reason
don't
why
have to
that would
go-
be affected.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever our status quo prior to is what it is, or is what it was. But once we adopt this, our practice should be moving forward, that we're documenting these requests, that we're documenting, whether there's a conflict of interest with a vendor, and that there's a communication chain that is tracked on the form itself to say, when was this authorized, when was it ordered, when is it arriving, et cetera.
All right.
Okay,
Madam
if there's
President,
any further
I guess
discussion.
the dog is more than dead now. So I expected to see nameplates here today. So that's where my confusion is. I expected to not have a piece of paper here today.
Ms. Clear?
That's kind of where I am.
Could you expand on what the holdup is on the nameplates?
I can follow up with administration and we can make sure that gets done for the next meeting.
That'd be great, thank
I
you.
can
Yeah, I
fill out
think,
the
Madam
form.
President, I think that's two separate issues, though. I think adopting the policy and then figuring out where we are with a previous request is they're related, but they're not the same thing.
They're the same if we have to do this in retrospect. And that's what I was trying to ask. And you're saying we don't.
I don't know why we would.
Okay.
Madam President.
Ms. Alexander?
Just for my clarification, nameplates, done deal. That's already in motion. This isn't necessarily pertaining to the nameplates. This is for anything else going forward.
Correct.
If, we new
A line in the sand.
microphones or whatever. Is that?
Okay.
Yes, if we want to get new chairs, if we want to replace the podium and it's coming out of council's budget,
Okay.
somewhere or another, we just, there's just been a lack of process, and it's been an issue for a long time. Nobody knows how we're supposed to do this, who's authorized to do what happens next, so this is an attempt to clarify and streamline that process.
Ms. Curitin, did you have something to say?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Miss,
All right.
Madam President,
Are you making a motion to amend this? Or?
I didn't know she had
Okay.
I just want to make sure you have everything you need, because for the nameplates, and you can talk to me afterwards, but you should have everything you need.
I believe so, yeah, and we can talk after about it.
Okay.
Okay. If there's do I hear a motion? I've just been hearing discussion. So do we have a motion on the floor in regards to this?
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester?
I make a motion that we adopt the new process and procedure for the expenditure form.
Okay, do we have a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor from Ms. Chichester and a second from Ms. Gaston. Any further discussion?
Madam President?
Ms. Zorb, was that you?
Yeah,
Sorry, it was a very
Uh,
little voice.
it's because I have more confusion.
All right,
I thought we were adding this to council rules. Are we adopting this as its own independent process, or are we adding it to council rules?
Madam President,
who said Madam President? I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at you. Sorry. Ms. Dukestein?
so I don't know what process you will assume with this, but I know that it will be very helpful if we have something that we can show the auditor is in place. That kind of protects us from the appearance of wrongful application of spending. So I don't know if you want to do
So
the
you
motion.
can't show them council rules? Or you can?
We could.
Madam President.
Madam President.
Whoa. Okay, guys.
I do think that it
Ms.
would be better as a motion.
Ms. Gaston?
Can this policy stand alone? Is there anything wrong with it standing alone as a policy?
It is nothing wrong with it standing alone as a policy, and the fortitude behind that is the finances and the state auditor. They want to see clear, concise, spelled out processes for you all. I think it would be a good exception to the rule.
Ms. Curitin, go ahead.
Madam President, to Ms. Zorb's point, I thought that council believed that this was going to be part of our council rules, not alone its own piece of legislation. Or it's not even legislation, its own proposed.
Proposed new council rules.
Yeah, it actually, thank you, Ms. Zorb, for saying that, because that was my next point. It says proposed new council rules. So I would like to, before we move forward with adoption, I would like to clarify, are we adding this to council rules, or is this going to be its own standalone document?
Madam President,
Ms. Clear?
I would advocate for adding this to council rules because it guarantees that it's not going to get lost somewhere, and it guarantees that we're going to be looking at this at least once a year or every election cycle at least. It's going to stay with a body of rules that council already uses to govern our own practices, and it's going to stay together with that. And so having it be a separate thing, I think runs the risk of us, our future selves, forgetting we have this because it's not part of council rules. And if it is part of council rules, there's already a procedure that we have to make sure that we're reviewing these things on a somewhat regular basis and that we all agree that this is what we're going to implement.
Just for clarification's sake, Ms. Dukestein, so if this was not a standalone policy and it was part of council rules, if the auditor had a question in regards to that, you could show them it out of council rules, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Thank you. All right, any further discussion? If not, Ms.
Madam
Chichester?
President, I would like to amend my motion and say I would like to add the proposed new council rule, the new expenditures to our council rules.
I'll second.
I don't know if that clarified. Sorry, I'm trying to find my draft.
This one, you want my?
So what are you trying to add? Say that one more time, I apologize.
And council rules to add the expenditure.
Making a motion to amend council rules to add the expenditure. I'm editing the original motion that I had, basically.
Okay, so you want to amend your original motion?
Yes.
To say that we are accepting this
Into our council rules.
into our council rules?
Yes.
Okay, where was my second? Was that Ms. Gaston?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you good with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so to restate, there was a motion from Ms. Chichester and a second from Ms. Gaston to accept this draft into our council rules detailing council expenditures. All right, we've had a lot of discussion. Let's have roll call.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Curitin,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
If there's no other old business.
Madam President,
Madam President,
Feel free.
Ms. Gaston.
I do have a piece of old business I have two pieces, but I'll spare you. So the first one is, we spoke extensively about moving our council committee meetings to 1 hour, and we are now in March, and I would like to know if we're going to move our committee meetings to 1 hour. So for example, rules and public safety and, rules and public policy and public safety would be on week 2. And then the CCDR and budget and finance would be week 4. Is that something that we are still interested in doing?
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan?
I believe that we talked about it going 2 ways. We talked about moving up, having public safety, CCDR, and rules and public policy on the same nights, and then having budget and finance on its own independent night. So I am open to both suggestions. I do believe that we have to have them at an hour to really work efficiently. We're missing the mark there. And so can we just clarify what the consensus is on council? Do we want to do 2 and 2 or 1 and 3?
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester?
I remember we said there were going to be 2 and 2 because we had discussion about the time with Ms. Zorb
Yes.
meeting our meeting time, because we kept it at 6 for the start time for both. We're going to move it 2 and 2, 1 on the 3rd and 1 on the 4th. 1 on the 2nd, 2 on the 2nd and then 2 on the 4th.
Correct.
Ms. Zorb, your chair of finance, what's your opinion on the subject?
2 and 2.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I would like to make a motion that we change our committee meetings to have rules and public policy and public safety on week 2 of the month, and to have, I gotta write down,
Y'all messing me up right now.
and the CCDR and budget and finance on week 4 of the month.
Do I hear a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan?
second.
Okay,
Madam President? Sorry, go ahead.
Ms. Clear? Discussion, Ms. Clear?
You have to do what you're going to do first, and then we can discuss, I guess.
Okay, you don't need to tell me
Okay.
what to do. Thank you.
I don't know. All right. What I was going to clarify is, since our schedule is in council rules, that the motion might be to amend Council Rule 10 to change the schedule of our council meetings so that rules and public policy is at 6 p.m. on the second Monday. Public safety is at 7 p.m. on the second Monday. That CCDR is on at 6 o'clock on the fourth Monday, and budget and finance is at 7 o'clock on the fourth Monday. That's what I would suggest that the motion should be, just so we're very clear about what exactly we're changing.
All right, Ms. Gaston, would you like to restate?
That was a lot. What time is it? I'm tired. Thank you. So I would like to amend council rules,
10.
section 10, to have rules and public safety on the second Monday of the month at 6 p.m. and to have public safety at 7 o'clock on the second Monday of the month. Then CCDR on the fourth Monday of the month at 6 o'clock. And then budget and finance at 7 on the fourth Monday of the month.
Ms. Curitan, are you still going to second?
I will, and I do second.
Okay. So I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Curitan to amend Council Rule number 10 to have rules and public policy be the second Monday of the month to start at 6, and safety to be the second Monday of every month starting at 7. City Community Development and Recreation to be the fourth Monday starting at 6, and Budget and Finance to be the fourth Monday starting at 6. Did I say that right? I feel like I got, no, that's starting at 7. I apologize. So Budget and Finance being the fourth Monday starting at 7. I think we've had a lot of discussion. Let's go to.
I got discussion.
Oh, okay. Ms. Alexander.
How did you all come up with the grouping of which?
Just the way it goes.
Madam President.
Because that got me coming every week.
Wing it. Madam President,
Ms. Chichester?
I think we just took the first two, put on one, and then the last two on another, especially since budget and finance tends to need a little lengthier time.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Alexander, you cool? You're going to spend a lot of time here.
I'm not.
Every Monday.
He's changing committees.
Okay.
Let's go change committees.
Roll call?
Ms. Sorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Keratin,
Yes.
Ms. Clear,
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Okay. Any
Madam
other,
President.
Any other old business?
Madam President.
Ms. Curitin?
Just wanted to clarify, if we can,
I'm sorry. Is there a problem?
Someone texted me and said the cameras weren't working anymore.
Okay. Are you good? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Curitin.
okay, so I wanted to clarify, actually, I'm going to reserve that for new business. I'm going to go to one more other additional topic. In 2025, Metro came and spoke to the city, and they actually came twice, I believe, once here and one at Clover, Center for the Blind. Can you give us an update on where we are with what Metro has presented to the city, please?
We don't have an update at this time. We're still in the same space that we were, I think was that at the beginning of the year around Christmas time when you did mayor did some, marketing for the things that are going to be in the city. They haven't made any decisions to my knowledge. I know that there is a meeting coming up that I will be attending soon. I don't know the exact date of that, but I know that it's coming based on email communication. So,
Okay, can you confirm if the city is currently receiving any funding from Metro? Infrastructure?
Not currently. I am currently looking into some grants that would help us improve our sidewalks in any spaces around Metro bus stops.
Yep. I'm glad you said that because the applications just opened yesterday. So I can send you over that information.
I have it.
Okay, great. Okay, great. It's very competitive. From the research that I've done, Metro has given $330 million to cities just like us over the past 5 years. So I would love for us to tap into it. And then I would also like to extend that conversation on our next, let's put it in Public Safety Committee meeting. But it more aligns with budget and finance because it's grant related. Is that something, Ms. Duxine, that you can? Okay, great. And then the other piece of old business, 1, 2, 3. I had it on my agenda for budget and finance, for public safety, but I wanted to make sure you had it on your radar. 1819 Dallas. Are you familiar with that residence?
Not just by the address.
Yeah, I apologize. It is a house that appears to be owned by the city.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. That was something that we kind of hinted at and discussed, but we never went into great detail. Is that something that you can just give us a quick, because I understand the grass is cut, but citizens have reached out and they said it's a eyesore for the city. And actually, residents on that street have shown interest. And so I'm just curious to know the reason for retention and then if there is any future plans for it.
Madam Chair, was that you?
Go ahead.
That property, Madam President, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Ms.
That
Nichols.
property has been a conversation for many years, and it's been stale for quite some years now.
Okay.
The council from previous years ago did not come up with a plan necessarily. There were many things that were thrown out, so it sort of got put on the shelf and it stayed there. So,
Ms. Nichols, is 1819 Dallas, was that going to be something used with the police department
well,
about
we
10
talked
years
about
ago?
that. We talked about maybe using it as a police
Substation.
substation, but nothing ever came to fruition, so.
Ms. Zorb, did you?
Yeah, I just want to throw out a cautionary tale that that talking about property is an example of what we can use in executive session. So I would caution council as to how deeply we discuss this in an open meeting.
Madam Chair,
And I don't want to take Mr. Dieter's thunder away from him, but
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan?
I brought it up publicly because it's impacting the public right now. Citizens have reached out. There were some issues with the property, I'll leave it at that, and some safety concerns with the property. And so we can talk offline, but I do believe that it's a public discussion because it affects the public. Citizens have reached out about that. So that's why I opened it up openly to the public. And so we can continue to have this discussion, and then even council can even determine if we want to move this to a particular committee, and then if we want to open up, I wasn't here 10, 12, I don't know how many years ago that conversation was, but if we want to put this into a particular committee to see which direction we can potentially go in.
All right, any other old business?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I just wanted to stop the mayor from saying she got old business. I'm just kidding.
You might.
There was a great question. So we did the motion for the meeting, the committee meetings, but when are we starting that? Are we starting that this month?
Let's see, I think we should start that this month because
Thank you.
nothing
Okay.
has happened yet. You know what I mean? We haven't had our committee meetings yet and we just passed it tonight. Let's start that this month in March.
Thank you, Madam President.
All right.
No more.
Any other old business?
I watched them, Madam
I'm sorry?
President. I have some old
apologize.
business. I said she may have wanted to stop me. On the 17th, you passed Resolution 2026 in pursuit to the authority granted to the mayor under Section 9.10 of the Charter of the City of North College Hill. I hereby am vetoing Resolution 2026. This veto is not an expression of support or opposition to any council member, nor a judgment on the underlying dispute referenced in the resolution. It is based solely on the structure established by the city charter and the procedural integrity required in council's legislative process. Section 3.7, paragraph 3 of the charter makes clear the council alone is responsible for governing and the conduct and discipline of its members, including any decision regarding behavior or censure. These matters are reserved to council as a peer governance function and do not require nor involve approval by the mayor. For that reason, it is not the role of the mayor to affirm or reject council's internal disciplinary actions. I also have concerns about how this matter was brought forward. The legislation did not proceed through committee, which limited the opportunity to review and collaborative discussion before formal action. Additionally, I was not included in any meeting where the matter was discussed and received no information about the legislation or the expectations involved, preventing me from making a fully informed decision. Respectfully, Mayor Tracy Nichols. I have a copy for the clerk as well.
Because we will need that in writing. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Any other old business?
Madam President,
Ms. Curitan?
thank you for reading that. I mean, it's still your opinion, right? I look at facts though. And so I just want to remind council that although the mayor has vetoed it, council still has the right to override it. Mr. Dieters, you can confirm that. So just know what our rules are of this council, including the censure, whether
So-
we agree.
Madam, you're done.
Hold
No,
on.
no, ma'am, I'm not.
Hold on one second.
No, ma'am.
I didn't say you were, I said when.
Oh,
When you're
yes,
done.
okay. So I just wanted to remind council of that. The other thing I wanted to mention is that you said that it is the duty of the council and the council president, per what you stated, to, if there is something that happens here. Is that what you were stating, Mayor Nichols?
Something, council is responsible for its own body. I'm not responsible for you. And that's in section 3.7, where it talks about council. I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Any further discussion?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
so January of this year, this council addressed conduct that occurred during our January 3rd organizational meeting. The resolution before us was thoughtfully drafted and narrowly tailored. It did not impose punishment. It did not remove authority. It did not create enforcement measures. It simply placed on record that this body formally disapproved of conduct that violated our rules of courtesy and decorum. A censure is a statement. It documents what occurred and affirms the standards we up here agreed to uphold. As Mayor Nichols stated, she holds the veto authority. That is not in dispute. However, this matter concerns internal council governance, and misconduct under council rules. This was a legislative body addressing its own standards and commitments, including matters discussed in executive session, which cannot be discussed publicly. If we cannot formally acknowledge when our agreed standards are violated, then those standards lose meaning. Rules become optional, and accountability for all of us up here becomes selective. There are 3 reasons that I feel that this should stay. Number 1, legislative independence. Council must retain the authority to govern itself and uphold its own rules without executive interference and discipline. Second, consistency and credibility. And third, just public trust. I know that I wanted to make sure that while I was on council that we abide by the rules, all of us, myself included. So to any member who is confused or doesn't know what's going on or whatever, this is not a vote against a colleague at all. It's a vote of integrity of this council. It is a vote that says our word to one another matters. It's a vote that says our rules are real. That's all I have, Madam President.
Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Gaston.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Madam President.
Ms. Nichols.
To that point, had this been for the collective body, Ms. Chichester's name should have been left out of the legislation. It should have been for the entire council body. This specifically has her name in it. And as I stated, it's not for one particular person. I was not invited into executive session, but yet my signature is required on the document. I was not given any information until we got into a meeting 2017, on 2/17/2026, and all the conversation was, it was discussed in executive session, so we can't talk about it. And then you asked me to put my signature approving it or agreeing with it. So from your statement that you read, if it was for the collective body to make sure everyone is on key and task, the name shouldn't have been put in here. That's my opinion. As we said, I'm not going back and forth. I vetoed it. It's in the charter. You have a particular time where you can come back and say, this is our reasonings why. So.
Thank you, Ms. Nichols.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb.
I would like to point out, I would like to refute one point that the mayor said. She said it wasn't discussed in the committee. It was discussed in executive session. It was not permissible to discuss it in a committee, which is, in my mind, an equivalent. And Mr. Dieters can.
And I still was not invited to the executive session.
Exactly right, because we were trying to handle it within our own body.
Exactly.
And there was an agreement that was made in executive session, and that agreement was not upheld. So that is why the legislation came forward. The agreement, as we tried to, for lack of a better term, manage ourselves, was not upheld. So therefore, the next step had to occur, and that was the next step.
Madam President.
There's one more other point that I'd like to make. There is history to prove that there is another option for you. If you did not agree with it, you could just not sign it.
I didn't sign it.
I understand, but in place of a veto, you would not necessarily have to veto it. You could just not sign it also.
Right.
So there is that option also.
So then it's that clause in there that says to give your reason. So.
Yes, I understand.
Ms. Chichester, you had something?
I would like to point out a few facts. I had planned to uphold my agreement through calling members,
But before we even got to that, we added that to the agenda. And if I recall, there was a two-way street on that agreement that was not upheld. Mr. Dieters, am I correct?
I can't discuss that, I'm sorry.
Okay.
How would he know?
All right, but I agree we should move on. New business?
Yeah, so let's move on to new business. Is there any other old? Okay,
we'll keep
new
going.
business.
Madam President,
Real quick before Ms. Clear, I received an email from Ms. Curitin in regards to legislation that she was wanting to put forth to council. And upon reviewing it, I feel like it does need to go to committee. So this is legislation establishing standardizing monthly reporting requirements for the city administrator and city departments. I feel like this could go into rules and public policy. Ms. Clear, I will forward you a copy of that draft tonight so that you can have it to go over in your next meeting. All right. Now, Ms. Clear, before I cut you off, what were you going to say for new business?
all right. In your council packets, actually, it was forwarded to all of council, and then I suggested that we add it to new business for discussion. On Saturday, March the 14th, which is prior to our next council meeting, there is a local elected officials training hosted by the Center for Local Government, and that will be held in Springfield Township at the Arts Connect building on Saturday, March 14th from 9 until 1. The cost is $15 per person and is for elected officials, which would include any of us and Mayor Nichols, since she is also an elected official. $15 per person. If we decide that some of us would like to attend, I am happy to submit our newly approved council expenditure form. If we decide, if any of us want to go, I actually happen to know that Center for Local Government is already a vendor of the city, so that wouldn't be a concern that would cause a disallowed conflict of interest, but I'm happy to submit the form to formalize the request if any of us would like to go and attend that training on the 14th. I believe we would have to decide now because we don't have another meeting between now and a full council meeting between now and when this event will take place.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston.
I'm just letting you guys know right now, I am not available on that date, so I will pass.
Madam President,
Ms. Curitin.
I too am not available on March 14th. I would love to, but I'm not.
Well,
President, I have 2 events on that day.
okay, so is there anyone who is available? Ms. Sorb, the winner. Okay, anyone else? Ms. Chichester, are you available? Nope. Okay, so you have 2. Ms. Ms. Nichols, would you like to go to this training?
I can't go that day.
Okay, so you have 2.
All right, I'd like to make a motion as pursuant to our procedure to allow, well, first of all, does council have funding in our training budget for an expenditure of this nature or in an operating expenses budget? Because I know that we passed the budget, but it's in the buckets, it's in larger buckets, so I do not know if there's.
You don't. Can I answer? I'm sorry. You don't. I told
We don't
you
have
all.
$30? I'm sorry.
So if it doesn't come from council's budget, it would come
It's
from
not-
somewhere else, but.
Sorry, Ms. Dukestein, continue what you were saying.
It's not that you don't have $30. You all did not do your budget. We kept pushing it to you to talk to you about what you would allocate for 2026. You didn't do that. So we just went with what we had done prior years. There can be reallocations, of course, but that is why you don't have it existingly.
So in previous years, there was 0 for training?
Yeah.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb, I'm getting an eyebrow from you.
Because I'm lost.
Okay. Ms. Cureton?
Just so I can make sure I'm hearing you correctly, are you stating that because council in 2025 did not set a budget, that line item, that funding line item is zero?
Each body is responsible for how they would like to spend their dollars. We allocated dollars to council based on what the trends had been in the past. That is the way that we do it. Even department heads, they speak to what their desires are, and then finance comes back with myself, and we say, hey, this is feasible, this isn't. We beckoned council several times to do so, and they did not. So we went with the trend of what we had been doing in the past.
Which is?
$0. And I would like to say that in the past, as a council member and thereafter, I brought multiple trainings, suggested multiple trainings, and no one ever decided. So if this is a desire, it is something that is new. Track record says it. You guys have not spent any dollars on training historically for like 5 or 6 years, if not longer. So
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb?
I've gone to this exact training at this exact location.
Okay, well, did you allocate from the city dollars? Did you turn those money in?
I didn't pay for it. The city paid for it.
Okay, well,
I don't know where. I didn't do that. We didn't have this. We didn't have this expenditures policy. Somebody in the administration side of the world made. Huh?
What I can say is that we looked at the trends to about 5 years back. There have not been any training dollars.
Madam President?
And there's also
I know Mary D. Wald and I went to that training. Trying to think who else.
It's my understanding, based on how the budgeting process works, that the appropriations are by fund and not by line item.
Right, which is what I'm saying.
So what we're asking is there $30
yes
in operating expenditures that could be
definitely
could
that's
be
why I said
utilized for this purpose?
Yes, I said that is in your purview to allocate those funds. Are they in a line item? No. Are they in a fund? Yes.
Madam President,
Ms. Cureton?
so how we spend our money, it's my understanding we spend it how we agree. If we want to spend it on trainings, or if we want new tablecloths, or new chairs, or new mics, there may not be a line item for microphones, or chairs, or laptops, or tablecloths, but we have money in our fund, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I know that Madam President,
Ms. Dukestein?
I hear the snarky laughs. It means a lot. Language means a lot. Words mean things. And if we're going to do it right, we have to say the right language so that we can understand how we need to move forward. I would love to put money in those times. You're making it seem like I'm trying to be difficult because I'm trying to give you the right words. I said multiple times that you have the money to be allocated, but you have to put it in that line item because there is no prior dollars in that line item. Historically, you have not had trends that pull from that line item. I'm just trying to give you the information that you need to get it right.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. But for clarification's sake, and this is where I'm struggling to get my head wrapped around it.
I don't know if she finished the motion.
I don't think I finished the motion because I'd stopped myself to ask about the funding before I officially.
I didn't, I'm sorry, I didn't see you interrupt yourself.
I apologize.
Go ahead. I was going to get you a second, but yes, okay, go on.
Okay. Be that as it may, the way our procedure works is we decide that we want to do this, and then the finance manager will confirm the source of funding for this. It is not a done deal until there's a purchase order. That is the procedure. So what we can do here is say, we're going to make a motion to allow up to 2 members of council to attend the Center for Local Government local elected officials training on Saturday, March 14th at an estimated cost of a total of $30, and authorizing the administration to proceed with the requested expenditure.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb?
I'll second that.
So I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Clear and a second from Ms. Zorb to, can you restate what you said in a shortened version?
To allow up to 2 members of council to attend the Center for Local Government local elected officials training on Saturday, March 14th, and to at a cost, estimated cost of $30 total, and to authorize administration to proceed with securing that for us. I don't know how to word that.
Thank you, that's good enough.
I'm tired.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
sorry.
good. That's good. I knew if I tried to restate it, it would be butchered.
And that aligns with what would end up on the form, which will be sent to you and the clerk of council this evening if this moves forward.
Okay, so we've had enough discussion. I think let's go ahead with roll call.
Ms. Zorb?
Yes.
Ms. Gaston?
Yes.
Ms. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Cureton?
Yes.
Ms. Clear?
Yes.
Ms. Chichester?
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right, any other new business?
Madam President,
Ms. Cureton?
I know everyone's tired. I understand, but I just need to share something that's a bit disheartening. We all know what happened at Kroger. February 18th was a very embarrassing day for this city. I don't have any kids in the high school, but I see the kids in our community. I know the hard work Dr. Blaylock is putting in. I'm sorry, Miss, I apologize. Okay. I know the hard work that Dr. Blaylock and his staff and our school board are putting in. What's disheartening for me is, as an elected member of this city council, it took 9 days for us to get a briefing. Yet, I'm sitting at home, watching the news, and I'm hearing of what has progressed. It is not fair to those who are elected to represent the citizens of this city to be last in line to get an update. The update came Friday, February 27th at 1:40 p.m. Yet, Wednesday, Thursday, we all saw the news, what was going to come down the pipeline. And even in the briefing, it mentions others in the judicial branch, plans, procedures, so forth and so on. But yet, the council of elected officials were last in the pipeline to be updated on what's happening here in our city. That's an embarrassment. A briefing, in my opinion, should occur within the first a couple days. I'll even say 72 hours. But for nothing to be sent to council in 9 days, it is an embarrassment for our city. So my request is, I cannot give anyone a directive, but I would ask, as we build this bridge, to work together, to be in sync, to be a city that is moving forward, even if we have situations that come up, that we will be better in communicating to the elected officials who serve this city with what you have. You maybe didn't have all facts, but something to say, City Council, I wanted to let you all know, whomever else, we are working to determine our next steps. But to go and have nothing for 9 days is an embarrassment to the people that we serve. I ask you, our charter doesn't speak to it, council rules don't speak to it, but I ask of you, is that a good look for our city? That the people who are elected are not even briefed on what's going on right here in our own backyard. So if something else were to come up, because we don't know what tomorrow holds, but if anything were to come up in the future in this city where we are all elected to serve, that we won't be last next time, but at least one of the first few people who are notified of what's going on, respectfully.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb.
something just occurred to me about the motion that Ms. Claire made. We did not leave an option for Mr. Davis. Should we have?
I think so. I mean, if we approve 45, that doesn't mean we're going to spend all 45. That's just a not to exceed. So if you would like to make a subsequent motion to,
I would, just to give him the option.
Okay, do I hear a motion on the floor?
Yes. Madam President, I'll make a motion to, can I amend a previous motion?
No, just make it separate. $15.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve up to 3 members of council, elected officials to go to the CLG elected officials training on 3/14, estimated not to exceed $45.
I have a second.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Clear.
I'll second that.
All right, so I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Zorb and a second from Ms. Clear to allow up to 3 council members to go to this training for $45 at the top of the cost. Roll call?
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Keratin,
Yes.
Ms. Clear,
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
All right, do we have any other new business? I'm going back in time.
Madam President?
Madam President,
Oh, go ahead.
I would like to ask, what update are you hoping for? I need some clarity around what you're asking and help to understand how it is an embarrassment to council that council members do not know the inner workings, because our neighboring cities are much larger than us. I'm connected with multiple city managers, multiple council members, and I'm not saying that we cannot set a new precedence, but there are times, and I saw an example of this just today, where we have council members specifically commenting online with details in an open, active investigation. And that is dangerous, and it is impeding the proper ability to remediate the situation. So I'm concerned, but I'm also asking for clarity so that I can understand what the expectation is, and why does that then serve as an embarrassment that a council member does not know every specific detail of safety precautions within a city. Specifically, you asked for a safety protocol. I gave that. That would fall underneath that. There has to be some level of trust that when things arise in the city, that the city is leaning to that safety protocol and executing that out through our police and fire and all of our other constituent departments to do and to serve the city well. I don't want to talk about the details of the event, but I can tell you that the city and the school district collaborated together to take every precautionary measure to not have something like that happen. Unfortunately, those plans and things did not go, because you have the essence of human behavior, and it becomes even more difficult when you have human behavior garnered by children.
Madam
President.
President, I was next.
Ms. Chichester?
So I was going to say that too. Procedurally, outside of during a active police investigation,
council or outside entities are not updated until the investigation is complete. And then there's a statement released to the council, the city administration, council members, because that could hinder an investigation process where a person who is being prosecuted could use that as a defense mechanism. If something is stated incorrectly or something is released, then it kind of gives their defense a heads up. We don't want to hinder any type of investigations with our police department.
Madam
But
President. Oh,
I was
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it wasn't just our school that did a protest. Yes, there were some students, and not all of them students. Some of them exercised their rights respectfully, and I commend those students and support those students. I think I said it last month during Call of Members that the youth should step up and express their voices within legal reasonings, so that they can become active and the next generation can be sitting here making the laws. And also, what happened, was typically what happened when you get a group of teenagers together and their frontal lobes aren't developed yet and they act. Now, there was a group of kids, and you get a bunch of teenagers together, there's going to be some things that are not, within what our adults' mindset would approve of doing. So at this point, I'm not going to continue to vilify. I, as a teenager, did not always follow all my parents' rules. I, as a teenager, have made mistakes. And unfortunately, they have these consequences coming up to, deal with. They gotta, if they gotta deal with parents' discipline, they're gonna have to deal with legal discipline. I don't think that's anything for us to intervene in. And with that, if nobody else have any, oh, sorry, that's your wheelhouse.
Yes, thank you. I can do my job. Thank you. Ms. Curtin, you said.
So let me clarify my statement, because I don't want anyone to leave here confused. This does not stop or start with Kroger. This is with anything that happens in our city. This council, let me actually take a step back. I'm assuming that as the administrator, you understand what a briefing is. A briefing doesn't go over all of your facts and your findings. A briefing is just that. This is what occurred. This is what we know right now. And this is what I can follow up with you in the next 3 or 4 days. That is the definition of a briefing. A briefing is very concise. It's straight to the point. What happened, what occurred, who was involved, and when the city became aware. But we, council, did not receive anything from administration until February 27th at 1:40 p.m. And the incident occurred February the 18th. So my understanding, this is not specific to what occurred a couple of weeks ago. This is, if anything occurs in this city, council should not learn about it from the news. They should learn about it from our administrator. Whether or not our mayor makes a statement, the administrator is our CEO of this city. We should not learn from any outside source of what is occurring in this city. Not a full, book-long, detailed report, but a very concise briefing of what occurred in our backyard. And my request is, God forbid anything of this magnitude ever happens again. But in the event it does, my request, I cannot enforce it, I cannot make it mandatory, but my request is that council is made aware of, even if it's brief facts and findings, and maybe the next steps and where things are. Not learning it from the outside sources, but learning it from the administrator of the city in which we serve.
Madam President.
Okay, Ms. Dukestein, if you'd like to go ahead, and then we're going to stop this for go ahead, state your.
So I do understand what a briefing is. I will tell you that every city has their own pulse and the way that they conduct business. The relationship between council and administration varies. That is something that I will speak with Mayor Nichols about. I'm not unwilling to comply with that. What I do have issue with is that you presented it as though it's something that I should have done when we have not in this city set that precedence. And there's a training and a certain kind of precedence that we've already established here, and that is what I followed. So if we are going to reset that, then we should approach it from a new space as opposed to a delinquency of a space that is your expectation or something that you want to bring to the table as a new implementation. I'm open to those things, but I think that reframing how it comes about is helpful, because then that helps it be teamwork that we can go forward in.
Absolutely. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other new business?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I would like to make a motion that we adjourn for the evening.
Madam President.
Whoa. I'm just, Ms. Zorb?
I like to second that motion.
All right, so I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Zorb to adjourn. Roll call.
Ms. Sorb?
Yep.
Ms. Gaston? Ms. Alexander? Ms. Curitan?
Yes.
Ms. Clear?
Yes.
Ms. Chichester?
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.